Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming to another video. All right, so talking about the LA Lakers, of course, since it's the second round. Game 6 is approaching at our crib. Got a lot going on in regards to people talking about Anthony Davis and the injury. People have to come back and apologize for making this decision to talk crazy about the man when they didn't know if the seriousness was at a level that could be made fun of. And I get it. I mean, I watch Shaq, I watch Chuck. They're from a different era. And the era that they're from, they would have bullied a guy like Anthony Davis. They would have made him feel very uncomfortable for some of the stuff just out of sheer differences in what it is that we understand about medical treatment and the way that we handle these type of things. If Shaq would have gotten hit with an elbow like that and then proceeded to have a wheelchair moment, it would have never been hearing the end of it. It just wasn't acceptable. So it's not surprising to see them react the way that they do, because I remember the era they're from, and that was something that just would have been laughed at the time. But I'm disappointed because it's not like they didn't live all the way up until this moment to see the lead up. They know that there are medical breakthroughs. They know how serious concussions are. They know about different head injuries and things like that. And even though this ain't the NFL, we're not as ignorant to think that a guy can't get hurt with a head blow. You know what I mean? So that's how I took it, looking at them doing that, and then to see them have to apologize in the morning was rather gratifying. Same with Stephen A. Smith to a degree. You just want people to be a bit more sensitive as it pertains to head injuries in general. And obviously, we understand that Anthony Davis already has the reputation of being soft or whatever. That whole narrative with him being the street clothes guy or what have you. But it's like, in this situation, y'all should give him the benefit of the doubt based on protocol and our understanding, because they're going to put anybody in a wheelchair in that situation. They're going to go through all the processes, the bells and whistles, especially a player of that magnitude. They're not going to let him walk on his own. On his own, if he's going through a head injury, especially given the fact that he's dealing with the foot. They don't want to play with that. So it's like they should be given an extreme pass to not only the specifics of Anthony Davis and what his reputation is, which is why they probably should just pull back on making fun of him because this protocol is in place, but also because we really didn't know. We didn't know what was going on with that head. and we've seen a lot of players embellish on contact. That's kind of the thing. Guys act like they're much more hurt than they are. So you don't know if that's what Anthony was doing, but all in all, I just felt like the Golden State Warriors have been trying to get this man out of this series for a while now. They can't contain him on the court, so they got to try to remove him off the court. So to see that play out the way that it did was just a carryover from that mission in my mind. So I wasn't surprised to see what I saw, and I don't think it was an accident. So that's why I didn't laugh. If anything, is because I thought they were trying to hurt him, and I thought it was a serious injury. And I watched the referees allow them to do it all night long. So it was one of those situations where the refs just kind of let them clobber us. It was the only way we strategized. You know what I mean? You look at it like this from a strategy standpoint. Let's say the Golden State Warriors can't get into the paint at all. We're not allowing them to get into the paint. Okay? What if they said, okay, the Golden State Warriors are now no longer able to shoot threes? They removed threes from the rules in this particular game. The only way you're going to score is getting in the paint. But they can't get in the paint. You see what I'm saying? They're not going to be able to, because that's what we've been able to take away with our roster, with our talent. That's what the referees did to us. We can't shoot the three. We're not going to be able to shoot 53s and have a good percentage. We have to get into the paint. And as we were getting into the paint, we weren't getting any calls. You see what I'm saying? So it's like when you remove the only thing that we could really do to strategize against this team, we're inside out just like them. That's why they've been trying to, doing all kinds of geometry and various things, having, Draymond Green sprinting up and down the court. That's the only time they beat us, when they have him sprinting like a deer. You know what I mean? Game 2 and Game 5. So it's like, that's the recipe for them to succeed. They have to get into the paint. If we take that away, they can't win, basically. But we haven't been able to take that away. But with us, you have to do the same thing. You got to keep us out of your paint and force us into a three-point shooting team, just like we're trying to force them. And that's what they did to us in Game 5 by allowing the Lakers to not get any whistles when they were getting clobbered in the paint. You take away the paint, boom, here we are. Game 6. So that's really what it was. That's what I saw. Is the officiating controlling the game in such a way to take away the one thing that the Lakers need to balance it out, because the Golden State Warriors had what they needed be so difficult to come by. And so they even up the score to make it to extend the series because otherwise we're gonna beat them. So that's really what it comes down to in my mind. The Lakers were complying, and that, as we talked about, by putting that crap defense on the floor, putting the loser lineups on the floor that we know don't work for us. So clearly we were in, in cahoots with the nonsense, and our players get the worst of it. That's how that goes. So I'm just extremely frustrated with the NBA as a whole as to how they're strategizing all of this for the betterment of how they can scramble up these matchups so they're not as predictable as people would want them to be. You got all kinds of weird stuff happening. It's just supposed to be so coincidental, but I honestly just think it's manipulated bullcrap, honestly. And so that's what I'm seeing there. And, you know, I haven't gotten up here and made my video apologizing to the Miami Heat because first of all, I know there's a lot more basketball to play, but they have overachieved a great deal and do deserve a great deal of respect for what it is they've done versus the video that I made telling them at the end of the first play-in tournament game to blow their situation up. But the reality is, I have been hesitant to make that I'm sorry Miami Heat video because I'm genuinely not certain what I see there isn't exactly what I thought I saw, which is a team that probably needs to be blown up based on the fact that the roster is not good at all. Problem is, it doesn't matter if the roster is good at all if the NBA is going to continue to do whatever it does to ensure that they continue to win games. Now, I'm not sure that's what's happening or not, but what I'm telling you is every time I look at that roster, I see garbage. I see Jimmy, I see Bam, I see Hurt, Tyler Hero, and I see a bunch of role players that are likely going to have a hard time staying in the league. The reality is those guys are playing great together and have been playing great together every year in the playoffs. And Eric Spoelstra has a great deal to do with why they're succeeding. But I can't get over the fact that not only did they just lose $150 million worth of player, but they got a whole another $150 million worth of shooter on their team as well. Doesn't play any defense and do anything in Tyler Hero. So what I understand about constructions of rosters is that they have two dead weight holes allegedly supposed to be dragging them down in these playoffs, and they're able to overcome it. Not only are they able to overcome it, but they're able to overcome it against talented, deep teams. So technically what I'm telling you is what you're seeing in Miami should not be happening. Based on how their roster is constructed, they shouldn't be winning these games at all. So that's like, I don't know if I should be apologizing to Miami. Oh, Miami, you're doing great. Or is there some manipulation taking place and allowing Miami to just waltz through the playoffs and get where they need to go? And I'm not certain. I'm not certain. All I know is I'm not on board with just saying that Miami is better than all these teams they're beating, because they aren't. On paper, they are not. And that's what I'm certain of. And some stuff is as good as just players playing well in a system that works for them. Other times it's, we're watching more of the same that we've been watching all year long with the officials and the manipulation and all kinds of other stuff. So I don't know, but I'm not ready to just betray my understanding of how to construct the rosters and what it takes to win in the basketball floor. As it pertains to the NBA, I know what it takes. And you should not be able to do what they're doing without Tyler Hero and with Duncan Robinson and with Kyle Lowry. I ain't got nothing else to say other than I'm not sure what the hell I'm looking at. But I know they ain't supposed to be as good as they are. I know that. So that's what I got to say about the situation. There's just a whole lot of weirdness going on. And with Anthony Davis being a victim of a lot of punishment in this series, and the referees watching him get punished each and every time and barely calling any of it, knowing that if you remove him from the game, the Lakers' chances of winning the series get removed as well. It just seemed to me that's what everybody was on board with, basically. You know, everybody's on board with that. So with that being said, I'm just going to keep on watching as a fan. You know, keep coming to you guys telling you what I see. But honestly, I don't know what I'm looking at. But what I do know is there's a lot of stuff going on in this NBA that has completely thrown the betting surface out of whack. Whatever it is that y'all was doing in regards to betting, Milwaukee, you've lost money. It looks like you're going to lose money on other teams. If you had money on the Kings, they're gone. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of stuff. Looks kind of funny to me. You know, the way the Celtics series is panning out, I don't know if anybody thought that would be that way, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, that Miami thing, I don't know, man. The reality is they have done a lot with a little, and they've been able to keep it up, and it don't really make any sense. So, as I look at our situation over here with the Lakers, I'm just like, all right, well, if I see how the game was officiated on our end, we look at how things are going, the way they let us get clobbered in the paint, it's like, well, they're probably manipulating like this all over the country. That's probably what they're doing. Not that I'm watching these games too much because I'm only paying attention to us, but I've seen enough with us to know how they move. So it is what it is, man. That's what I tell everybody. I enjoy these games when we win. I get frustrated when we lose, but it never sways the idea that it's been controlled or manipulated or what have you. So that's just what I'm frustrated about. But nevertheless, man, I keep on telling you guys that the Los Angeles Lakers are a team that doesn't want to play more basketball. Less basketball is best basketball, and life can come at you fast in this series. Now you're going to see what I'm talking about. We got Game 6 tomorrow. If for some reason we drop that game, Game 7 is going to be on Sunday. And Sunday is only 4 days from now. Life comes at you fast when the schedule is set up this way, and they made it that way. They probably wanted this thing to go the distance, with that being the dynamic. And it's all in the schedule, man. It's all in the schedule. So I'm just sitting there watching it, and I just say to myself, hey, it's a bunch of bull crap, honestly. But nevertheless, we enjoy the basketball. We appreciate years where it's not a lockout. So this is going to keep them from being in the lockout. They got to manipulate a couple seasons to make it look like certain things are going a certain way to make them feel or whatever. I guess that's what we have to live with. But I'm going to be honest with you, man. I don't want to hate on particular teams and stuff like that, but it's just certain stuff. It's just like I'm ready to usher out of the era we're in. Miami, having a team that's not very good, they should not be this far. They need to go away. Golden State, they won a bunch of championships for a million years. You know what I mean? It's probably rich coming from a Laker fan, but it's time for them to stop losing. It's time for them to go away. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally. I want some of these teams to go away, man. I ain't going to even hold any punches back. I'm just a fan. Nobody's paying me nothing. And some of this stuff just needs to go away. I said the same thing about the Spur era. When they were winning like their fifth championship, it got to us like, all right, it's time for them to go away. Who else? You know, you felt that way about the Miami Heatles. You know, I didn't like them. Very happy when that got disassembled. Very happy when Bron went back to Cleveland. Like, certain stuff is just, you want it to move on. I'm pretty sure people feel the same way about us. From behind this curtain, believe me when I tell you I don't care. But nevertheless, I'm pretty sure they don't either. But this is just how I feel. I'm ready for these teams to go away, man. For real. I'm ready for new eras. I want to see the rise of the new young Rockets, new OKC, rise of the new Orlando Magic, rise of wherever Wembanyama's going. I want to see the start of a new era, and I want this three-point crap to go away. Okay? And the Miami Heat, I don't know what magic they're running over there. The center only plays one side of the ball half the time. Half the players are role players, and they're making all the shots in the world. They need to go away. For real. They need to go away. They're not supposed to be winning like this every year with a team that's not good enough. I'm sorry. I'm hating. I don't care. Go away. Put the players on that roster that is supposed to be there, and you'll really see how good that system is with Spoelstra. They're doing everything with nothing, and they still need to blow it up. They still need to blow it up. Just tell you right now, man. I don't care how well it's performing. It's performing because that coach is a mastermind. And if he had real players, look, you'd imagine how great they'd be. That's the reality of it. So, Pat, get that man some real talent over there and stop having him do the impossible with barely a little. Okay? Because that's really that's what it is that we're seeing in Miami. And that's what we've been seeing in Miami for about 5 years now, honestly. So, that's really what it is. At any rate, that is my conversation for today. Just wanted to give y'all a little bit of Laker conversation. Stay off of Anthony Davis's back. Y'all don't know what he's going through. A lot of the chatter surrounding his injury concerns are more so about just that chatter. It ain't really about nothing else, because he's coming back on the floor every time he gets a chance, fighting to get back out there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure he didn't want nobody to know he was in that damn wheelchair. Probably didn't want to even be in the wheelchair for that reason alone. So it's a lot of hate out there, man. People whose time has passed, right? And they not so happy that is the case. You know what I'm saying? They know what time of year it is. And this was a time of year back in the past where they would be dominating. They would be the ones running around in shorts, sweating. People be calling their names. They'd be dunking the ball. So I think a lot of times people just hate, bro. They just hate that their era's over. They hate that they ain't doing it like that no more. They hate that it's yesterday, and they look in the mirror and they not that guy no more. And they see somebody else who is, and they maybe don't respect what he's doing, and it's easy to bully him. But at the end of the day, God gave you your time. Old guys during your time had to scoot out the way and not hate. It's time to scoot out the way and not hate, and guide these brothers on how to best maneuver through what it is that you understand, while knowing they're in a different era, and what worked back then isn't going to work right now. So that's what it is, man. We just need better leadership. I keep using this word leadership with the OGs, leadership with the older players who are still running around. It's not enough leadership. It's another reason why we talk the way we talk, because people are showing people how to do things the wrong way, get the wrong results, man. You know what I'm saying? You make fun of somebody like that in a situation, you got to come back the next day, apologize for it. That's the example. So, you know what I mean? We just gotta be wise just to understand that some of this stuff, people ain't showing their strengths, they showing their weaknesses. Straight up. And you gotta get secure about their own self. Understand that you did it already or it didn't happen or whatever. But let the young fellas shine. Let them live their era. Let them do what they do in their time. Because you did what you did in your time. And you wanted them old cats to stop hating on you too. So that's kind of how I feel about that. I take pride on being a guy that tries to be a positive light in that way. You know what I mean? I don't care that I'm not 23 years old. I don't want to go out there and beat him. I want to be me in this position, doing my part. And I wish we lived in a world where everybody would do that. So that's pretty much what I got to say, man. That's my thought. This ain't going to be that long of a video. I just want to address everybody. Double down on my desire to see the Miami Heat blow this thing completely up, because honestly, the roster ain't that good still, and they're just doing a whole lot without what they need, and it's going to cap itself off eventually. Maybe not against the path that they were on, but eventually. Oh, and something else before we leave. I would like to say, if the Los Angeles Lakers do overcome Game 6 and win Game 6, we should feel good about who we've played in the first 2 rounds versus who everybody else has played in the first 2 rounds. Now, assuming we get out of this round, because it doesn't look great right now, but if we were able to prevail, we probably had the hardest path of anybody left. So that makes me feel great. But if we're not handling the path with a certain level of confidence and dominance, and we're barely stumbling out of that path, then what good was it that we were on it if it's going to defeat us? So that's really what it is, man. I'm just disappointed with the team for not playing harder, strategizing to win, having that old relaxation, cushion, decompress, exhale behavior that the Lakers tend to fall into. And I think will ultimately hurt us in the end. I really do. If we can overcome it, it'll only be because everybody else is just as flawed as us. It won't be because excellence was found in that trait. It's not there. You got to do away with that. And hopefully we can figure out a way to do away with it before Game 6. So that is the thought, man. Luckily, the game is in our gym. But I'm telling you, if we lose it, obviously we won't have any more in our gym. So we had better win Game 6. And so Game 7 doesn't have to happen. And it's going to take Game 7 energy and desperation to win Game 6. And I'm certain that if the Lakers don't bring it, that just parlays us into a loss toward Game 7. So we might as well not even play Game 7 if we lose Game 6. And I think that's how most people feel. Most people are saying we're going to lose that game about as confidently as they said we're going to lose Game 5. Game 7 ain't a Laker. It ain't looking like, you know what I mean? I'm going to walk into it confident, you feel me? But I'm telling everybody right now that we do not need to be playing a Game 7 against the Golden State Warriors in their house. That's not something that you feel good about in any way. If you're going to win this series, you better do it now. And I kind of feel that way about Game 5, but we're a little past that. So I just know you can't do this against certain talent, and Steph Curry is definitely that talent. So if we do happen to lose this series, it'll be because we didn't do what we were supposed to do in capturing that understanding. So that's what I got to say, man. That is my thought on the day. I appreciate everybody for rocking with BDF 44, and I'm out.